These people planned 25 years in advance. Had Pac and Big still been alive today, come on, brother. You and I both know how strong they would have been. They wasn't gonna f with me, and they not gonna f with me. He said, I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a f if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail.
What if the greatest twist in hip-hop history hasn't happened yet? For nearly 3 decades, the world has lived with the belief that Tupac Shakur's life was cut short in that infamous Las Vegas drive-by. The headlines were clear, the obituaries were written, and the world mourned the loss of a legend whose voice spoke louder than anthems and carried the weight of a generation.
Could Puff have been involved in Tupac's murder or Biggie's murder?
I think that when you set up an atmosphere for something to happen, how involved are you? You set up the atmosphere. You put people in positions to get hurt. He knew that somebody was gonna do something. He was told. I told him before we left. I told him. Mace told him. See, people ain't telling. See, everybody think that Gene Deal is the only one know this. I'm not the only one that's noticed and privileged to this information. I'm the only one that's speaking on it and has spoken.
But what if everything we thought we knew was only the surface of a deeper, darker game? Whispers from federal agents, shocking claims from insiders, and sealed files that never saw daylight are all starting to paint a different picture. One that suggests Tupac didn't just survive, he vanished strategically, waiting for the perfect moment to return. And if the rumors are true, that moment is now. Reports claim Shakur has reemerged with evidence powerful enough to topple 2 of the most untouchable names in music, Jay-Z and Diddy. Could it be that the same men who shaped modern hip-hop might be standing on foundations built in betrayal?
Everybody need a little help on their way to being self-reliant. No independent person just grew up and was born independent. You worked and you learned teamwork and you learned cooperation and unity and struggle, and then you became independent. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic, that's just real. These people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I gotta give them some mail.
If so, the industry is on the edge of an earthquake that could rewrite everything we know about fame, power, and survival. On the night of September 7th, 1996, Las Vegas became the center of a mystery that still refuses to die. Everyone remembers the story. A white Cadillac pulled alongside Suge Knight's BMW. Shots rang out, and Tupac was hit 4 times. 6 days later, the world was told he was gone. But the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. Conflicting witness accounts, medical reports riddled with errors, and even the cremator who retired the very next day. Was it really as clear-cut as the media claimed? Or was the world fed a carefully crafted illusion to hide a much bigger truth? Almost immediately after his so-called death, whispers began spreading that Tupac had somehow escaped. Grainy footage surfaced of a man in Havana who looked eerily like him. Locals swore they'd seen him shopping in Cuban markets, and shaky nightclub clips fueled endless debates online. At first, the mainstream dismissed these as nothing more than desperate fans clinging to hope. But over time, the stories didn't fade. They multiplied. Each new sighting, each new rumor, added fuel to the belief that Tupac hadn't just survived, but was living in the shadows, preparing for something far bigger than anyone imagined.
Why would you tell the littlest in the crew that these are the guys who took my chain? Is over there on the other side of the casino, by the elevators. Why you ain't go tell Suge? Why you ain't tell one of the bouncers, one of the security, one of the bodyguards? Did anybody ever question him? Why you gonna tell the man who make all the money for us? That's a setup. They was setting that boy up, man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The same people that Puffy, Biggie, and Bad Boy was using as protection when they came to LA, it's the same people that just happened to get into a fight with Tupac in Vegas. To me, man, that's a hell of a coincidence, man. I don't know about that.
I don't think anything is coincidental.
Then came the insiders who broke the silence, and their words changed everything. Former bodyguard Michael Neese claimed Tupac never died in Vegas at all, but instead was whisked away in a secret operation involving bribes, Black Panther allies, and even protection from Fidel Castro himself. He described Tupac's escape as a carefully planned mission, complete with covert flights and a quiet handoff on a Caribbean airstrip before he disappeared into Cuba's underground. Others in Tupac's circle hinted at similar stories. Whispers of safe houses, encrypted messages, and networks that shielded him from enemies who wanted him gone. These weren't just random fans or internet theorists. They were people who had been close to the man, individuals with nothing to gain by speaking out. If even part of their claims hold weight, then Tupac's disappearance wasn't an accident of fate. It was a masterstroke of survival. But the question remains, why stay hidden so long? The answer may lie in the shadows of sealed evidence and whispers from law enforcement circles that refuse to stay buried. Reports claim that documents once thought destroyed, phone records, financial trails, even surveillance footage, have begun resurfacing, linking high-profile industry figures to the night of Tupac's disappearance. Former associates like Keffi D and even Suge Knight have dropped cryptic comments over the years, hinting that the story told to the public was only half the truth. Now, insiders allege that federal agents have been quietly piecing together these fragments, and what they've uncovered points directly at two of the biggest names in hip-hop, Diddy and Jay-Z. Leaked details suggest the FBI hasn't just stumbled upon old rumors. They may have matched fresh intelligence with evidence long hidden away, and if true, it paints a chilling picture of power, betrayal, and control. But here's where things get even more shocking. These files allegedly connect not only to Vegas, but to years of questionable dealings that stretch far beyond one tragic night. And if Tupac himself has been feeding information into this investigation from the shadows, then his return isn't just about survival. It's about unleashing the receipts that could destroy entire empires.
Lawsuit come with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
Right. To us, right?
I had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brush, like,
I hate you, man.
I'm unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yeah.
Diddy's empire, once a symbol of luxury and dominance, is now crumbling under the weight of endless scandals and lawsuits. Former associates have stepped forward with disturbing stories. NDAS are breaking, and even loyal employees have begun to distance themselves. The mogul who once controlled the narrative with flashy parties and billion-dollar deals now finds himself fighting for his reputation and freedom. Allegations of exploitation, corruption, and shadowy dealings have stained his legacy, leaving fans and the industry questioning everything they thought they knew. But as Diddy struggles to contain the damage, another giant quietly faces his own storm. Jay-Z, long seen as the untouchable architect of hip-hop's billionaire era, has suddenly found himself dragged into the same web of whispers and accusations. While he's mastered the art of staying above controversy, new claims suggest money trails and covert connections between his circle and figures tied to Tupac's disappearance. Retired investigators, accountants, and even ex-security staff hint at quiet payments and suspicious alliances that don't match the spotless narrative Jay-Z has carefully built. And now, with Diddy's legal troubles exploding, Jay-Z's name is surfacing in lawsuits that could force open doors he's kept sealed for decades. His lawyers are scrambling, his team is on defense, and the public is starting to connect dots he hoped would remain invisible. Could it be that the empire Jay-Z built, the one celebrated at billionaire brunches and award shows, rests on the same shadowy foundations that forced Tupac into exile? To truly understand the storm brewing now, you have to look back at Tupac's alter ego, Makaveli. His final album, The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, wasn't just music. It was a blueprint, packed with cryptic messages that fans have dissected for decades. Naming himself after Niccolo Machiavelli, the strategist who famously wrote about faking one's own death to outsmart enemies, Tupac seemed to foreshadow his own vanishing act. Lyrics spoke of betrayal, revenge, and a calculated return, while album art showed him crucified, as if hinting at resurrection. Even the number symbolism, the 7-day theory, the timing of his reported passing, has been tied to theories that he staged everything. For years, skeptics brushed these off as coincidences or fan fantasies. But in light of the new rumors and FBI whispers, these cryptic warnings feel less like art and more like prophecy. Was Tupac leaving breadcrumbs for those willing to look deeper? Did Makaveli signal that his story wasn't ending, but only transforming? If so, then every lyric, every symbol was part of a carefully orchestrated plan. And his alleged return now feels like the final chapter of a script he started writing decades ago. The ripple effect across the music industry is already undeniable. Powerful figures, once untouchable, are now facing subpoenas, while managers, lawyers, and even bodyguards scramble to protect themselves by cutting deals or fleeing the spotlight. A-list celebrities who proudly stood beside Jay-Z and Diddy at galas and award shows have suddenly gone silent, distancing themselves as the storm intensifies. Behind the scenes, publicists are in overdrive. Crisis teams are burning through resources, and entire corporations tied to these moguls are quietly panicking. What was once celebrated as black excellence now looks like a fragile empire held together by secrets on the verge of spilling out. Every day, new leaks threaten to expose names that were once thought to be above suspicion. And if Tupac truly emerges with proof, the collapse won't just touch a few moguls. It could send shockwaves through the very foundation of hip-hop's power structure. If Tupac were to step forward now, the consequences would be nothing short of seismic. His return would not only shatter decades of official narratives, but also force the industry to confront its darkest secrets. Awards, catalogs, and carefully curated legacies could be erased overnight, with Jay-Z and Diddy's names dragged from pedestals to headlines dripping in scandal. Fans who once idolized these men would be left questioning everything, from the East Coast-West Coast rivalry to the very roots of hip-hop's evolution. For Tupac, it wouldn't just be about vindication, it would be about justice, reclaiming his voice and exposing the betrayal that silenced him. And for the culture, it could mean rewriting history itself, forcing the world to reckon with the possibility that hip-hop's greatest dynasty was built on lies, while the legend they tried to bury returns as the ultimate survivor. So where does this leave us? On the edge of the greatest reckoning hip-hop has ever faced. For years, the world accepted the official story. Tupac Shakur was gone, taken too soon in a hail of bullets on a Vegas street. But piece by piece, that narrative has cracked. Rumors of survival, cryptic lyrics, insider testimonies, FBI leaks, and now the collapsing empires of Jay-Z and Diddy. If even a fraction of these whispers hold weight, then the game is about to change forever. Imagine the man the industry thought it had buried walking back into the spotlight, not as a ghost, but as living proof of betrayal, carrying evidence powerful enough to tear down icons and shake corporations to their core. This isn't just a story about one artist. It's about a culture, a movement, and the truth that refuses to stay hidden. Whether Tupac returns or the mystery deepens, one thing is clear. Hip-hop's foundations are trembling, and the next chapter could rewrite everything. The only question left is simple yet haunting. Are we ready to face the truth when it finally comes crashing down?